The silence at the Montgomery family dinners was always thick enough to cut with a butter knife, especially when it came to me. For 3 years, I'd been the elephant in their opulent dining room, the unemployed son-in-law. My wife, Olivia, bless her endless patience, would try to deflect, but her family, the formidable Montgomerys, had perfected the art of the condescending glance. I'm Alex, 32, and to them, I was a perpetual disappointment. My unemployment wasn't a choice. It was a consequence of a brutal economic downturn and an industry shift that left thousands like me, a former aerospace engineer, scrambling. The job market was a barren wasteland for someone with my specialized skills, and after countless rejections, the hope had slowly drained away. Olivia, an angel, worked as a successful architect, her income keeping us afloat in our modest apartment. But afloat wasn't good enough for the Montgomerys. Mr. and Mrs. Montgomery, Olivia's parents, were titans of the Seattle real estate world, their lives a meticulously crafted tapestry of power, prestige, and inherited wealth. They lived in a sprawling mansion overlooking Puget Sound, drove luxury cars, and summered on their private yacht. And I, their daughter's husband, was the single, glaring flaw in their otherwise perfect lineage. Every Sunday dinner was a performance. So Alex, Mrs. Montgomery, would begin, her voice a delicate blend of concern and thinly veiled judgment. Still no movement on the job front? Olivia works so tirelessly, it truly is a burden on her. Her eyes would drift to Olivia, conveying a silent commendation for her self-sacrifice. Mr. Montgomery, a man whose stern gaze could curdle milk, would interject, "A man needs to contribute, Alex. To have a purpose. What exactly fills your days?" Richard, Olivia's older brother and a hotshot venture capitalist, was the worst. He relished every opportunity to twist the knife. "Still holding out for that engineering miracle, Alex? Maybe it's time to consider a different path. My cleaning crew always has openings, if you're looking for something to keep you busy." He'd flash a cruel smile, and the younger cousins would nervously giggle, while Olivia's hand would find mine under the table, a silent squeeze of reassurance. Olivia was my unwavering champion. "Alex is brilliant, and he's been exploring some innovative ideas," she'd often say, her voice firm. "It takes time to find the right fit." But her defenses rarely penetrated their thick armor of disdain. They saw me as lazy, unmotivated, a drain on their daughter's potential. Our cozy apartment, our shared laughter over board games, our dreams of a future built on love and hard work, none of it registered with them. They wanted a son-in-law with a corner office, a robust stock portfolio, and a name that commanded respect. I offered devotion, resilience, and a future I was determined to build from the ground up. To them, it simply wasn't enough. I endured it for Olivia. I swallowed my pride, nodded politely, and changed the subject whenever their barbed remarks grew too sharp. But beneath the surface, a quiet, corrosive anger simmered. I loved Olivia with every fiber of my being, and their constant undermining of me felt like an attack on our sacred bond, a dismissal of her choice, and a judgment of my very character. It fueled a burning resolve within me, a desperate need to not just find a job, but to prove them fundamentally, undeniably wrong. The turning point wasn't a dramatic confrontation, but a slow, grinding realization. One evening, after a particularly brutal Sunday dinner where Richard had quipped about my retirement plan, I saw the raw pain in Olivia's eyes. It wasn't just my humiliation, it was her heartache at seeing me so consistently devalued. That night, lying awake, staring at the ceiling, I made a vow. This wasn't just about getting employment. It was about reclaiming my dignity and showing them the true measure of a man. My revenge wouldn't be about tearing them down. It would be about building myself up, quietly and relentlessly, until my success was undeniable. I stopped blindly sending out resumes. Instead, I immersed myself in learning new skills. My old engineering background had given me a strong foundation in problem solving and systems thinking. I started taking free online courses in data science, then web development, then machine learning. I lived and breathed code, poring over complex algorithms and building small projects. My small home office, once a symbol of my stagnation, became my personal laboratory. Olivia, seeing my renewed purpose, supported me unconditionally, bringing me late-night snacks, listening to my frustrated ramblings, and celebrating every small breakthrough. We tightened our budget, reinvesting every spare dollar into online certifications and necessary software. My big idea sparked from a personal frustration: organizing community events. The tools available were clunky and inefficient. I envisioned a sleek, intuitive platform that could manage everything from volunteer sign-ups to supply tracking. It addressed a real need, and I believed in its potential. I worked tirelessly, often coding until the sun came up, fueled by coffee and the vivid memory of Richard's sneering face. There were countless setbacks, baffling bugs, and moments of despair. But each time doubt crept in, I pictured the Montgomerys' condescending smiles, and that image propelled me forward. After nearly 2 years of relentless effort, adding to my already 3 years of unemployment, the platform, EventFlow, was finally ready for beta testing. I offered it to a few local nonprofits, and the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. They lauded its user-friendliness, its efficiency, and how it saved them countless administrative hours. This wasn't just a passion project anymore. It was a robust, viable product with clear market potential. I launched EventFlow with a shoestring marketing budget, relying heavily on organic growth, positive reviews, and a growing community of satisfied users. The platform slowly gained traction. Local tech blogs and nonprofit journals picked up the story, highlighting its innovative approach and tangible impact. Users started signing up, then more users, then even more. Before I knew it, EventFlow was generating significant revenue through subscription tiers and strategic partnerships with larger organizations. My transformation wasn't just professional, it was holistic. The long hours hunched over my laptop transformed into focused, productive work sessions. I integrated exercise into my routine, clearing my head and strengthening my body. The deep slump of unemployment was replaced by the vibrant energy of purpose. I was happier, more confident, and genuinely fulfilled. Our modest apartment, once a symbol of my struggles to the Montgomerys, now felt like a buzzing hub of innovation. Our savings grew, and we finally put a substantial down payment on a beautiful, modern house in a thriving neighborhood. Not a mansion, but a home that reflected our taste and our shared accomplishments, built from my own hard work. The moment of their regret came, ironically, at their annual summer charity ball. Olivia and I arrived, not as the struggling couple, but as a confident, poised pair. I wore a perfectly tailored suit, and Olivia, radiant on my arm, exuded an almost regal calm. Throughout the evening, I noticed the subtle shifts. Richard, usually quick with a biting remark, just stared, his usual smugness replaced by a flicker of confusion. Mrs. Montgomery's saccharine smile seemed to falter, replaced by a mixture of curiosity and dawning realization. Then Mr. Montgomery approached, his typical booming voice remarkably subdued. "Alex," he said, clearing his throat, I've been hearing whispers about this EventFlow platform. My Rotary Club uses it for their annual fundraiser now. Apparently it's quite revolutionary." I met his gaze, a calm, almost serene smile on my face. "Yes, sir. It's been incredibly successful. We're in talks with several national organizations for expansion next quarter." Suddenly, Richard appeared, clearly having overheard the conversation. His eyes widened. "EventFlow? That's your platform? I thought that was some major tech company's product." "It started as a small one," I replied, a hint of genuine satisfaction in my voice, built from scratch, from our living room. Later in the evening, a prominent tech mogul, a friend of the Montgomerys and a notoriously shrewd investor, approached me. "Alex, it's an honor to finally meet you. I've been so impressed with EventFlow. My firm is looking to invest in disruptive technologies, and your platform is exactly what we're looking for. Could we schedule a meeting to discuss a strategic partnership next week?" The Montgomerys were watching. Their faces, once so filled with dismissive judgment, were now a mixture of surprise, awe, and a quiet, almost imperceptible sense of regret. They saw the man they had called an unemployed loser, not just with a job, but as the founder of a successful, impactful tech company. As Olivia and I prepared to leave, Mrs. Montgomery pulled me aside. Her perfectly manicured hand reached out, gently touching my arm. Her eyes, usually so calculating, held a flicker of something akin to admiration. "Alex," she said, her voice softer than I had ever heard it, I truly apologize. We misjudged you terribly. Olivia always spoke of your brilliance. You've accomplished something truly extraordinary. I just nodded, a genuine, easy smile on my face. Thank you, Mrs. Montgomery. It means a lot to hear you say that. I didn't need to gloat. Their faces, their words, the palpable shift in their demeanor. That was my vindication. Their regret wasn't just about my newfound financial success. It was about their fundamental misjudgment of my character, my relentless drive, and my unwavering spirit. It was about realizing that true worth isn't measured by a job title or a bank account, but by resilience, innovation, and the courage to build something meaningful from the ground up, even after years of struggle. As Olivia and I drove home, her hand rested on my thigh, a comfortable silence between us. You know, she whispered, her voice full of love, they finally saw what I always knew. I intertwined our fingers, and it only took a little app to show them. We laughed, a quiet, shared moment of triumph. They called me a lazy loser, an unemployed burden for 3 long years. They doubted me, dismissed me, and tried to define me by my circumstances. But what I did next? I built an enterprise, not just of wealth, but of purpose and undeniable impact. And in doing so, I didn't just get a job. I became the man I was always meant to be. And that, more than any apology or recognition, was the sweetest form of revenge imaginable.